We're gonna have some fun. Whole point of music, I think, in my experience, is to be playful. Music shouldn't be work. I mean, some people do work as musicians. I teach. But long story short, today we're gonna try and come up with a melody. We're gonna do the same thing we try to do each week, but at the end of this, then we're gonna go up to the board and chart whatever we came up with. Let's look at this through a couple different ideas. One, I don't know what I'm doing. Don't know where I'm going, rather, is a better way to explain that. If I was gonna play in the key of G major, I would have possibly A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, and then like an F sharp diminish. We could also use any variation of those diminished chords. If you follow this channel, I hope that you're watching the chords for your specific instrument. If I don't cover that instrument and you're learning a new instrument and I play it, put it in the comment section. Maybe I'll be able to get to that. I would love to do that. But this channel is an amalgamation of just covering basic music foundations and reiterating that over and over and over again, and trying to demystify the way that you should or could or would practice if you had a little bit more direction and you didn't take yourself too serious. So I definitely have found that direction now, and I don't take myself too serious, which is fun. So we could play D minor one way, we could play it as a dominant chord, we could play it as a inversion. Once you get a couple inversions down, what you'll start to notice, if we're playing in the key of G major, that we could be moving from G to A minor, but don't necessarily need to go back this way. In fact, we could play like a 9 chord. We get at extensions. And these chords, regardless, if you think there's not a name for it, there are names, and those notes go together with whatever triad it is. So we look at what the major and minor sonority is. Now, when I'm doing like a noodle, I'm not thinking about what chord or what key I'm in real time. That was the practice. That's what we spent hours going and feeling what Lydian with a sharp 4 is. But doing different patterns, those become melody makers. So what we're doing today is I'm starting from scratch with no concept of an idea, no concept of a key signature, no concept of anything except for the interaction, which we might or might not have with the comment section. So I will be jumping over to the iPad every once in a while, and you might notice a little different format today is because I forgot my computer at home, therefore makes the whole process of going live a little difficult. Although I didn't have to set up my dinky little 2-step mixer, which has no driver. I'm hoping to get monetized. We're almost at 3,000. As soon as we hit that 3,000 mark, there's a lot of things we're going to be doing for the channel. Maybe not as much content as far as quantity, but we're gonna have a little bit more quality. If you are a fan of this channel, you'll notice that I don't do edits on any of the videos. That helps me save time, and the person that I've hired is amazing at helping me to kind of like, oh no, this is a Gretsch, believe it or not. They help me to organize my thoughts and get the channel kind of moving. Can we see the headstock there with the glare? This is a very, very groovy model. This is the 5013, the Cutaway Electric. I really enjoy this instrument very, very much. It is easier to keep it kind of clean too. As all acoustics, it's always hard to get under here. I've got one of those microfibers. I love the Cutaway. I'm interested at these little markings that we have on the fret. Every so often you'll get a guitar that does the marking at the first fret. Well, I don't really look at the fretboard anymore, but while I'm doing these videos, I do see my fingers, and it's funny because I'm always like, oh, that throws me off. I'm not used to having a first fret. And yes, it is very beautiful. I got this from Laura and Spencer at Big Island Guitars, the place into which I rent this beautiful room from and teach 3 days a week. Yeah, this one, the Gretsch, very cool. Sorry if that's backwards. As I said, I forgot my gear today. My bad. So what I'm trying to do today, Mr. McFly, oh geez, is go through a key, write a little melody, put some words, maybe put some structure behind it, write something super basic in the diatonic 7, staying close to families, and then see if I could pizzazz this thing by changing maybe some of the positionings. And what I'm meaning is in the key of, like, let's say A major, B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor, and then G sharp diminish. What I would love to do is be able to come right back to one of these chords and find myself right in the pocket of A. So basically I'm using the wheel or the circle fifth to look right around it. The idea is, what I've practiced as far as my own regimen of learning how to play is going over the circle fifths as bars, seeing how all the chords that I played doing that systematic use of the A shape and the systematic use of the E major shape, it goes all the way. So when I learn one function, like, I can do that everywhere. After doing that, I learned what all the names of the notes are. A, B, C sharp, D, C sharp, B, A. When I did that, long story short is, it all kind of falls together because you start seeing these shapes moving themselves tertiarily with these notes that have different structures and different ways of playing them to incorporate all the different notes inside the 7-note structure, right? Each one of these has the same sort of chord construction that the other major chords in the key do. So what most music is 1, 4, 5, because those are the shapes that are comfortable. Then we have like 2, 3, and 6, which are minors. I try and see keys going straight up and down the fretboard to figure out where to put melodies, and then below the 5th fret generally. That's not always my rule of thumb, but it generally is when songwriting. Oh, somebody put a nasty message? I don't want to view the message right now. I'll view it later. Maybe. I don't know. I'm here to have fun. Okay, so like if I was playing in the key of G that we started off with, if I played like G major, A minor, B minor, sometimes a good thing is to write a song, look for common tone commonality. So instead of having a B minor, I would raise that note, that middle note, the D, to have a D sharp. That gives me a B major. Well, if we've got like a groove going on that's like, that B major might seem weird and out of place, but it then serves as like a backdoor resolution, because in the key of C, notice how I went from B major to C. Well, usually we would have like a B diminished of some sort, and that resolves to C major. Oh yeah, Fishman Band. I love Fish. I was a dummy when I was younger. I got turned on to Fish and it totally changed my life. Enough said. So when going from like a chords progression that's just kind of like run-of-the-mill, if you're doing like an Andaluvian cadence, four chords down in a row, so like in the key of G, what would that be? C, B minor, A minor, G, B minor, A minor, G, F sharp diminish. Then you can go back to your 1 chord. Listen to what that B major does. It just changes by common tonality. That's another way to use chords outside of the key, and they have them being related. Oh, Deadhead here? Nice. What was the do you play? Dr. Love Green. Great name. Do you play? What does NFA mean? I don't know acronyms for the interwebs. This is the one I've been loving. Paradise waves on a crest of a wave and angels in flame. She's got no pain. Like a child, she's real, she is not to blame. Making it to without love and the dream, it will never come true. Shit. Yeah, love Dead. Hi, Mrs. Howard. Never Fade Away. Awesome, groovy tune. I love how the Dead and Fish like that, they take 3 songs and they kind of always go together. That one I was working on, Help on the Way, Slipknot, and then to Franklin's Tower. By far one of my favorite threesomes. Generally, when I'm doing set lists, I try to keep within chords. So like if I end a song from a band like the Allman Brothers, I've been run down. When that ends, down, 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 down. Sometimes I feel goes that D, right? So the next song I'll do will have to be like maybe after that really cool chord. Mr. Dickie Betts. Right after there, if I'm going to like a Beatles tune or something, I'll do the maybe a common tone modulation or use a diminished. Long story short, not being held to key signatures is so freeing. Being able to get away from the 5th fret is so freeing. And learning what we love, like if you love The Dead or Fish, or if your band is Metallica, learning every song from that artist and then having an appreciation for each LP or CD is really something cool. And then learning new bands and not being scared or timid or jealous or anything of any other person or musician. Everybody's on their own path. So maybe write a song about that today. The reason why I'm doing this one today, this is always generally how to write a melody. I don't have my gear today, I forgot it, but doesn't mean I can't inspire somebody to arrange some chords together, write some silly lyrics, and then put in an application or a submittal for the NPR. On the 14th of January, you could submit a song. Try to put a tiny desk in there, have no cussing or any drug or anything like that. Be active with the film, try and interact and make the things you write about a little bit poignant, or do you, have fun. But if I can encourage anybody to be able to do something for the NPR drive, it's a great way to start doing submittals, and who knows? You might just get selected and you can go have some fun doing that. It's a great life experience. Did that work with Pink Floyd as well? Yeah, Pink Floyd was more of like absence of knowing what to do. And then to tell you what, after doing a lot of musical analysis, knowing where the boys came from and all of their songs, I hate putting it this way, but if you listen to it, it's not stolen, but they took traditional British songs or tunes and rearranged melodies, so the melodies that they're playing slower or faster are something that the culture has been hearing for hundreds of years. That's the brilliant part behind what Gilmour was able to do. And then they turned the idea of that ballad into just this amazing space onto which you can play with anything. Let me see that, Grinch! Yeah, the space that Pink Floyd created, pretty magical. As far as my own interaction with that, learning how to play the rhythms, everybody knows that plays Pink Floyd like 7. So being able to talk or even sing over the top of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, very hard in the beginning as a bassist. Now, that was 30 years ago, but being able to do money is a gas. That groove is brilliant. It's super simple. It captures all the essence of awesomeness. It allows you to have a little freedom. B minor, or you could view this as an 11 chord. Moving this up, you don't even have to stay case specific. You can play D major over the top of that all day long, or your B minor. Can't put a harmonic minor in there. You might be able to fool some pentatonic moves. Maybe a 6 chord in there. However, super easy chords, super pentatonic, and Pink Floyd just made it amazing. Also, time and place, plus the gear that they were using, the synthesizers, they were brand new. Like the Moog, and like, can you imagine John Bonham from the Who, just like a drum set that has like 100 pieces that have to be set up the same way. Do you know all your modes? Yes, I know every single mode inside and out, backwards and forwards. I know them by name, and I know them by numbering system. It gets weird when you start putting hats on hats, like start seeing the modes of a mode. And if you've never experienced that, that's a really weird concept to kind of do, but it gives you such things as like Lydian with dominant notes in there. It is impressive, but this is what I've always wanted to do my whole life. And when I realized it only really takes 5 minutes a day, I sat down to do it. that's a scale, starting with your middle finger. If you start with your third finger, it looks exactly like your C major. C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. If you sit down and you write out your fretboard, all the notes are right there. All you have to do is put them in order. And then the real rub, notice how the fingers that I'm using are always the same, and there's a pattern to it. Well, there are only 3 patterns in all of music for all stringed instruments that are done in fourths, meaning 4 notes up in a scale, do, re, mi, fa. I go up, the next note is fa. This is tuned in fourths, except for this string, which is tuned in thirds, G to B, G, A, B, and then it goes back over, B, E, F, G. When we do this, we keep going B, you can do it in C, B, C sharp, D, E, and then when we go up, the next note is E. Hence, I'm a little bit flat. But yes, how long did it take to learn that? It took about 2.5 years. The intricacy of it. Then the application of it is the hardest part about it. So every single relationship that I've ever been in, I'm married now, have been for quite a while, but every single roommate that I've had endured countless hours of me and then I stumbled upon a teacher that taught me the right way to practice, how to use these individual notes or half steps to get finger mobility. And then when you start seeing that the whole instrument isn't really just a scale, it's all of the scales, I started to realize something. Take my subscription. Thank you for being here. I started applying it to like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and The Dead. You know, when you're doing something like, what is that? What chord is that? Oh, I was desperately wanted to associate a vocabulary to that, and what I got in the time I spent in college and in high school learning this, it was frivolous because it was all egocentric. It was based on knowing I had raw talent, but I never applied it in any fashion that would have been, how would you say, worldly or Western worldly? I more enjoy music, which is why I don't really charge. I don't edit videos. I just really enjoy music, and I enjoy teaching. I'm not always right. I love learning as well, and I don't take myself too seriously. So it becomes less of a chore and burden. It becomes more of like a Zen thing, just in the moment. But countless hours of doing these, you know, and then changing it to Lydian or changing it to Mixolydian. Well, what is Mixolydian other than C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, flat 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. If you could find that flat note everywhere, all over this board, you basically get fretboard mastery. And the truth of it is, if you can play a major and a minor, and you know how to move up a whole step and turn it into a minor, then a minor, half step, major, whole step, major. Dude, I know how to do it. Whole step, turn it into a minor, and then a whole step, but turn that into a big old chord, diminished. You have all of your 7 preferences in the Western world for a diatonic scale, meaning the 2 nodal structures of a harmony are called a dyad. These 2 determine major or minor. And then as far as today's adventure, we're gonna write a melody. So how do I start off writing a melody besides chit-chatting? Generally like this. You have a little session with somebody that you're playing with and say, hey, name a key. And I think we've kind of established maybe G, unless somebody in the comment section wants to name a key. Hi, Donna. Donna, how are you? Yeah, the application of it is, Dodge, I tell you what, the application of it is really hard, but as anybody who's technical and overanalyzes things, the best way to do it is to learn the process and then try to regurgitate it without thinking about it. So if I was doing something in the key of C, or let's say we're doing like, hope you recognize it. That movement went from a C6. It's utilizing the A, C, E, A. You could even play an A minor and put your finger down, either one of these. And then it went up to a D6. So I could use that same structure. Knowing that chord and knowing what those notes are and where the 6 is allows me to create movements. I have a whole big bag to choose from, like pentatonics, which have 5 notes in this case. Or I could choose a arpeggio, 1, 3, 5, 1, by putting in that note that's present, the 6. So if I went from my 6 note, that E, that A, That's a good run. When I went up here and I hit these two notes, that's a C dominant 7, which is a passing note to F, and I know the next chord I'm going to is a D6, and D minor is the relative minor of F major, and you see how it just becomes convoluted? So I don't think about this stuff in real time. It's just stuff that I've already programmed my brain to do by going. Those feelings or gestures are already somewhere inside of a program, a memory bank. I don't know. Donna, I'm good. I think Rachel and I are doing well. Yes, I love the trivia posts too. I finally started to figure out how to use the YouTube app to do actual quizzes to keep tabs on how many people answer those, if they're interesting or not, and like what level of hardness they are. I'm trying not to make them too hard at the beginning, but yeah, maybe 2-3 years from now they're gonna be ridiculously hard. Who knows what the following will be like? Truthfully, I don't know what the channel's supposed to be like. I just really enjoy doing stuff like this. So let's write a quick melody. If you have your instrument at home, please throw out a key out there. Otherwise, I'm gonna play in the key of G. Did anybody else put that out there? Although I can't hum while I'm doing this or else I'll throw off my melodies. All right. Trying to learn the music in a different, I was a major, oh yeah, that's right, saxophone. Strings, kryptonite, cool. There are a good amount of banjo stuff here on this channel. Let's see here. So, key of G. Unless somebody named something, haven't seen it, so I'm just gonna throw G out there. G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminish, and then you could also play a D7 and G. Common time is 4/4, and generally I like to do songs that have a little bit of a different pulse, but what I'm gonna do today is try to write a melody or something which would adhere to what we would call factory standard. I would like to submit a song, I do believe, for NPR, and the best way to do that is write something that's not too off the beaten path that people can associate with, has a good metric movement so you feel like moving your body. The notes aren't too hard to sing so everybody can sing along. The words aren't too over cryptic so you know what the song's about, and then just basically make it like a genre. I do a lot of music for my students, so when you see that almost all songs are like it's like C, what is that? B diminished, kinda, not really, but then G. When starting to do stuff like that, I would go, okay, next chord, A minor, G, D, back to the groove, C. So it's not really hard to come up with like progressions. In fact, if you check out this channel, I've got a whole series called Groovy Little Longer Ditties. I do them for a lot of different instruments. The idea is there are 7 diatonic chords. I try to stay within that key signature and I put 3 of them together and give it a different pulse or meter, so you start learning how to play different rhythms and see the hand movements, always keeping time in metric standard. So 4/4, key of G, 2, 3, 4. A 1, 4, 5 to me is kind of boring, so I would probably put a minor in between here as a moving chord. G, A minor, C, D, back to G. Trying to hear what the dyads sound like for each key. So we've got G and B, C and E, D, and F sharp. Saw what that little sus felt like. I don't know how I feel about E minor, D major, outside of a key. How about, nah, it seems a little too weird. Sometimes a good idea is to pick a band that's already been doing their thing that you admire and like and try to copy one of the melodies, change some chords around. Gave up trying to play my violin and mandolin. Oh, what a bummer. Violin's a bummer for that bowing. Not to tell you how to do or what to do, but 5 minutes a day. This channel definitely has all of the mandolin structures. So if you can play the G and you can play the C and you can play the D, the standard ones, just seeing that these two fingers can be played in another movement, going up a whole step and then barring gives you your A major, B major, C major. Once you see that you can just move the shapes you already know, like the simple ones like the G, the C, the D, or dare I say even like the F. Remember this one? It's kind of a hard one. You play enough like that as well on a mandolin. They start to fall in place as well the more you play. So on a mando, if you just did something like, actually I have my mandolin right there, but I want to stay with writing the song. 5 minutes a day really goes a long way. On here, if you're having a hard time forming ideas or concept, try groovy little ditties for the mandolin. They're in a bunch of different keys. Hopefully that'll help. And I know once you get the calluses built up, making a couple scales. Now the mandolin's weird because it's tuned in fifths, but knowing that helps. It really does. And then if you want, on some of these playlists, there's a whole thing on what the makeup or how to play the mandolin. It's like an hour and a half long. Gives you the foundation, if that helps. Maybe it'll be fun to watch it every once in a while. Anywho, so I was feeling kind of this like... might be a little bit too busy. Part. Yeah, and see, that's the idea. Most of the things that I pull from are dead or violin, or as Dodge was just alluding to, violin heavy, like Dave Matthews Band. Being able to see like... You can play that as slow or as fast as you want. You don't have to play the whole lick, but in this song, if I was doing... You could add a little nuance from that. It might trigger a memory, and then later on in the jam, you might find that is your melody maker. So keeping a broad air for ear, not air, broad ear for all types of music. Reggae, classical music, Hawaiian music. To say the least, Middle Eastern music is really influential in my playing. Being able to feel out those half steps and sometimes feel a little microtonal nonsense. However, I'm still learning too. Coming up with runs is really an amalgamation of in the moment, not thinking about what I was doing, what I'm going to be doing, but just try to be a part of those chords in space and time. So one of the awesome things I really like to do is make mistakes and then try to build off of that. It's one of the best parts of being an improvisational band too. So we have this done. I think it needs a walk down. Da. Key modulation. I like C sharp. If I had C sharp, you could go to D or D minor. D minor is in the key of C, but not in the key of G, which is what we're in. So can that lending or leading tone go to D major? That sounds too broad, so I'm going to pull that back. Can that lending or leading tone go to a common tone? Back to beginnings. Got to scrap some stuff sometimes, so... Don't like the C sharp there. think that's the groove. G major, C major, A minor, D major, G major, A minor, E minor, D major. That first time, go through it. Maybe we can do a walk down. Try the C here. E minor. C, C with a B, A minor, G. Back to D sus. Back to G. C, A minor, D, G, C. I like that F walk down. How do we fit that in? Here's our B minor, E minor, F walk down. Back to the D sus. The D, it's still the same thing, but it's filling out the sound. That would be a 5 dominant sus. So a D dominant 7, D7 backwards triangle. If we're working down our D major to a D major 7 to a D dominant 7, we're working down the D note to a C sharp to a C. Yeah, see, that's the idea. I don't really write pop songs, so it's weird writing this way. But I'm goal oriented. I've written so many songs now that I don't know if they're good or not. But the long story short is, I know what I'm writing for. I know that I am too busy as a player. So most likely this G moving with the bass, if there's a bass going. And here's the real rub. I just got into this. I'm really enjoying the chord structure, but my analytical brain just told me that I'm playing 3 different songs at once. I'm combining a Blues Traveler song with Chuck Mangione's Feel So Good, along with a jazz standard. So I would have to delineate from whatever structure that is at this point, because I don't want to make it sound exactly like something else. And if you didn't hear that either, and now you do, I'm sorry I ruined it for you. Play a Jack Black melody. Yeah! Is that good enough? Pick a Destiny. Kyle Gass, good player. Very cool. In fact, Jack Black, fun player. Good player. In fact, the whole point of life is fun, right? If music was supposed to be serious, it wouldn't be called playing the instrument, although that might be a grammatical thing. G major, C major, A minor, D major, E minor. Nah, I don't like that. Got Dave Matthews Eve. Anybody have an idea where I should go? We're in the key of G major. Throw a chord out there. Hi, Carl Rupert Cohen. I got the skills. Thank you. Tell you what, I got the practices too. 5 minutes here and there turned into 35 minutes, and then 5 hours, and then playing with different musicians, filling in and being put directly on the spot, and then having to comp. Very hard, but it's super enjoyable for the brain. And as I was alluding to earlier, I really don't take anything I do too serious. I know that music should be fun now. And I have to play it, just stop thinking and just be it. And I really enjoy the music teaching aspect of it now, and I provide a service to my community here in Hilo, Hawaii, which feels great to be needed. So long story short, feeling good today. Thanks for being here. I hope everybody else is feeling good. Checks out the channel. Peaches, peaches, peaches. Yes. Let's see here. Anybody new to the talk? I think it's totally fine to meld 3 different songs together. Yeah, it just depends, as long as it's not. When you can immediately tell that a song sounds like something else, it really breaks my brain that people put out music that has the same exact pattern as another very famous song. Or, more importantly, this is like on my pet peeve list. If I wrote a song like today, writing a melody, blah, 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 and I named it Shine On You Crazy Diamond, there would be something fundamentally off about that. Can anybody explain why? Different tunings, I'm starting to love them. Excellent. I got into like maybe Dagad, couple different drop D kind of situations, and listening to Trey Anastasio writing a couple different things, like did an album with Les Claypool and Stuart Copeland called Oysterhead. If you haven't heard it, check it out. Stop what you're doing now and go check it out. Other than that, yeah, Oysterhead, awesome. Different tunings for a song called Radon Balloon. And once you get the different tunings and you see the guitar in a different way, it changes your perspective, doesn't it? Very cool. Right on, Dodge. I would love to be able to be more proficient in tuning so I could also offer that on this channel, but I just want to know more about it, so I need to start asking more questions, don't I? So the feeling of the A part of this song has this like... This most definitely feels so good. I cannot continue. It's only in my head. Keyboard and boss drums. Yeah, guitar starts off simple. If the guitar's too overwhelming, get rid of these 2 strings and just play the 4-string top. If you get a baritone ukulele, it's the same thing as the top 4 strings of a guitar. It will definitely show you your D. And as I alluded to earlier, you really only need to know how to play these 2 shapes and possibly this one to know a whole chord. You can start making some pretty cool things, like E major. When you scoot E major up a whole step and get rid of that middle finger, you get F sharp minor, whole step, half step, go back to the major. It's the system that you got to understand. It's pattern building. So whether it's, you know, changing the oil in your car or figuring out how to do solve for X variable in algebra. It's a way of looking at something, being analytical, doing it over and over and over again, and then eventually you become synonymous with the idea. You become music, or you become math, or whatever you like to do. It's probably the best thing that you do in your life is something that you enjoy doing, and there is a technical aspect to it, whether you know it or not. It might be coming intuitively, or you might have had to have worked at it. Like music, singing-wise, came intuitively. Rhythm was a very hard thing to overcome. I had horrible rhythm when I started. Now I feel like I have great rhythm, and that's because of 20 years of practicing. Ice Baby versus Under Pressure. Ice Baby, yeah. What key is that in? Probably C. Yeah. Yeah, do you know Randy Breve? We're related. No, I don't, but I'll check it out if you put a link in the bottom. Hi, Jeffrey. How you doing, buddy? Just writing a tune and realized that I just wrote Feel So Good by Chuck Mangione, so I'm going to totally change directions here. Quite literally. I'm not going to start on the 1 chord for the G. In fact, I'm not even going to play in G. If you're playing along with, sorry to change it up on. Let's go to the key of, somebody want to name a key? These nuts on your guitar. Is anybody a moderator on here? Can we watch J-Dot? If he says something silly, can you remove him? And maybe I should. Donna, I just made you a moderator as well as Mrs. Howard on here. If somebody says something crazy, can you come on out here? If not, keep it classy and clean. I have students that check this channel out, so I don't want them to see any craziness. It'd be nuts. Let's see here. Did anybody name Grande. I could play Bach on a giant church organ with both feet. Awesome. Yeah, playing with two hands on the piano breaks my brain. When I'm learning a new piece of music to show a student, it's generally like I learn the right hand, then the left hand, and I put them together, but I'm still at a small sight reading. But as soon as I've played the piece 10, 15, 20 times and I know what it's supposed to sound like, sky's the limit. Improvisation starts happening because of all the stuff I've learned on mandolin or banjo or guitar. It's all applicable through the idea of theory. It's as you know, laid out differently. But different strokes, different folks. All right, so nobody named a key. I'm just going to go ahead and play in something like, let me just write something down. Common tone substitution there. Lackluster in the key of A. Maybe another one. Hey Isaac, how you doing? Aloha! Thank you for the best desires, my friend. Tell you what, just creating a melody would be my best desire right now. Let's look at it through a modal way. Let's pick a different key, why not? How about like, how about C major? C major is easy enough. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor. If you put a finger, and a finger going in ascending order, it works to build tension. You might want to put this one right here. You get different types. However, if you're playing in the key of C, you could just play a G dominant 7, and that gives you the same feeling as your B diminished would. There's your Jack Black. Yeah! And then go into some sort of groove if you want. How should I use a 7 dim or a 3 dominant when going to the 6 minor? If you're in the key of C and you're going to the minor 6 from C to A minor, I would use the lending or leading tone from the key of A major, because all music is viewed through the eyes of the major. Just because we're going from C major to A minor doesn't mean in the key of A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, and then G sharp diminished. If you use an E7, it could definitely go into that A minor, so use it as a passing chord. During that transition, you could do a numerous amount of things. You could do minor third runs, you could do whole tone, half tone, or half tone, whole tone. You could do hexatonical. Any of those are great passing or leading things that build a lot of tension in between those two dominants. And the reason being is you're shifting the tension between the note you're on to the note you're going, depending on where it is in its major key. I hope that wasn't too over the top. Let's see here. I like that you share. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm just a dude. I'm not awesome. I'm just playing the guitar. Let's come up with that melody. Key of C major, so maybe something like a, stay away from standards, which is like 2-5-1, jazz, 1-4, 5-4, rock and roll. How about like a flat 7? So in the key of C, we'd have a B flat rather than a B diminished or any of that. It wouldn't be as leading, but we'd still have a good groove. How about like a like a 1-4-1-7, so 1-4 flat 7 kind of groove. If I was gonna make a little tension, that C sharp major is weird, very Nirvana. I think it needs a very strong bass line. So now the song is morphed in more like a groove type song. And as far as percussion, if anybody's hearing, so I know the groove. Let's figure out a melody. I think a Lydian's out of place. F Lydian would work because we're using the B flat. We're getting rid of it, playing the B natural. And then in G, A, B, C, D, E, F natural. So G Mixolydian. G would drop our, that still fits for the key of C. We'd have a D minor. So I can move chords like, how about like 9s? bunch of things that can be done from that aspect. Anywho, Mexican, please. Okay. How about like, how about a Menuda? 2-3 or 3-2? That's actually a very fun groove. And if you get bored with like the C, B flat, go to all the relative minors of those. So we'd have what? A minor, G minor, D minor. Use the lending tone to get back to it. I've always wondered what is the role of the F chord in the key of G or B flat. In that key of C, yet a fill-in. In the key of C major, F is the 4 chord, and it relies on the B flat to have the tonality of a subdominant. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and F, relating to F major, G minor, A minor, B flat major, C major, D minor, and then our E diminished looks a lot like our C7, and then it goes back to our F. However, in the key of B flat, even though it's in the key of F, it has its own family as well. B flat, C minor, D minor, we have our E flat major. Then we've got our F major. See how that goes together? It comes right before our submediant, which is our G minor, which feels great. So it always has a role as like, if you were in the key of G, because G major and G minor are common tone, it's just the difference of a half step. So there's little difference. In fact, out of all chords you could possibly play, G major and G minor are the most closely related, except for maybe it's relative minor. So when we're playing something like our G minor to F, we use that somewhat like a backdoor resolution, because in the key of G major, that F would have been different from the F sharp. So all the modes that you build off of whatever your progression is can kind of homogenize, if you want, into a chord, and then what those root note or tonicified notes mean. In the key of C major, my F would be with a B. That gives me F Lydian. Most teachers, when they teach, they're like C Ionian, D Dorian. The idea is the half steps are really where the meat and potatoes are of most melodies. So that's what is fun to play. Playing with a toy. You're playing with a toy? Good. Desperado. You want to hear that one? I think I did a cover on that. What key would that be? I think it's in G. Don't you? I know the diamonds fall. She'll beat you if she's able. Know the queen of hearts is always your best bet. Anyway, as far as melody writing, what I did today was I took a couple keys, found out the things that I was writing sounded like other keys. If you're trying to write a melody, start simple. Pick a key. We chose C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B diminished, and then back to C. If you're not comfortable with these diminished chords, which are all found on this YouTube channel, just type in my silly name, W-A-G-O, and then the chord, it'll pop up. You could also play like a D7 for an F sharp diminished. You could also play like a C7 for an E diminished. You could also play an E dominant 7 for a G sharp diminished. So don't be scared of your diminished chords. Learn them, but you can also do replacements. And then the idea that we've kind of gone through here is you don't need to stay tied to a 7-note system. So if you're in the key of C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, if I were to take all the nonsense we did today and relate it down to what did I write today, it would have been this. C to B flat, doing a 1 chord to a flat 7, and knowing that all the groove inside this song, whatever the melody is, if it's reggae, if it's rock and roll, if it's heavy metal, whatever your genre is that you're shooting for, look for the notes inside your progression. The cool chord we used was a C sharp major, which was not in the key. In fact, on the circle of fifths, it is diametrically opposed to having a key that has no sharps and flats. C major! All the way over here, you would have C sharp. C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C sharp, D sharp, B sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp. Same chords. You're just scooting them on up so you can play them a half step forward. A C major is still a C major. It just scoots up. So I hope this demystifies your fretboard a little bit for at least the guitar. Writing a melody, try and stay within your 7 notes. And remember, the half steps in every single major mode, or depending if you're playing, let's say in the key of C, we were doing this C major to a B flat to a C again. Well, I don't have to solo with my C pentatonic. It becomes a little boring over that top of that. You don't have to use the relative minor, the minor pentatonic. That also becomes kind of boring. And, you know, Ishtar forbid that you play linear. Start melody making. By getting away from just the notes that are inside your pentatonics and throw one, as I would say, wrong note, not inside the major or minor pentatonic, but it will always work inside of your major or minor harmonic progression, because as Miles said, you're really only 1 note off from being on the right note, or at least on the right pathway to get there. So whatever your level is in your learning, try to maybe make this little groove today a basis. There is an NPR contest where you enter a song, so pick a key, pick a couple chords, put some lyrics or melodies to it, and then try to arrange something that nobody else has done. And remember, if you start writing something that sounds like somebody else's, like I did, I basically wrote Feel So Good by Chuck Mangione. If you haven't heard that, check it out. Again, amazing tune. But in the back of my subconscious, what I'm trying to do is write music within key signatures, get away from my basic 7 by utilizing maybe something like today's flat 7, and then utilize a chord outside the pocket so you get something kind of different. No matter what that is. Ooh, I like that. Much more than anything I did today. And that's the beauty of music. It's all play. Can you mix a guitar and a Brazilian phonic? I know it's not a good mix for fun. Like Brazilian, to my best knowledge, I only know maybe like 14 or 15 different types of Brazilian, but very fast bass with a love the drums on that. So Brazilian to me and Afro-Cuban, perfect combination. Weather report, stuff like that. Can I? Sure. Can I right now in the 5 minutes that I have left before I need to go teach? I don't think I can. But I can do a quick wrap up and say hi, howdy do to a couple people there in the comment section. I do really super appreciate everybody taking time out of their busy day and hanging out with me today. If you do play an instrument, some of my main ones are stringed instruments, a little bit of piano, and voice. I do give all of the lessons to my students here in Hilo, Hawaii at 1221 Kilauea at Big Island Guitars. Love Lauren Spencer. Coming down, check out. If you're visiting and you're a tourist, come by and get a lesson, why don't you? And then if you're abroad and just a tiny bit of this made sense and you can budget that time gap, I do have open sessions Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday. Half an hour session is a lot of information. And then I give you a backup video only for you on the YouTubes where after a while we can make free for everyone else. But long story short, I would love to teach, educate, and if you have any questions to help me on my journey as an educator, it's all about understanding the question, finding the answer. So if I don't have the answer, I will ask my teachers and get back to you. If you dig it, you can find me at Big Island Tiny Footprint, all one word, bigislandtinyfootprint.com. Book a lesson or forbid that you want to donate. There's a donate button on there. Anywho, thank you very much for being here today. Donna, as always, it's so awesome to see you. Everybody check out those pop quizzes. They will help you with your basic music theory. Yeah. Yeah, it does. Hey, thanks for being here, Mia. I really dig your comments. And you. You have a wonderful day. Let's see here. Anybody else that didn't get to? Dodge, thanks for being here, Dodge. First time I've seen your face. Isaac, absolutely. The passion's here, and last year I fell and hurt my hand about a year and a half ago, and I thought I would never be able to play music again. Tell you what, a lot of crying, a lot of tears, and a lot of existential thoughts. And what I have figured out is with a lot of physical therapy and just keeping my mind open, I'm able to move my fingers again. It hurts in the morning when I wake up. I'm still stiff, but I don't know what my world would be like without music, and I appreciate every day as a result of being able to get use my fingers again. I'm super grateful for everybody on this chat section today, and I'm super grateful for the future of this channel and just to have fun in life. If you dig it, please subscribe. Check out the quote section that I've been doing. This month it's from Alan Watts. And then this all is relatable through music. Aloha.